Hello everybody, it's your Peacekeeper coming at you with the next video in our How to Play series for the U.S. Navy destroyers. In this video we're going to cover the Mahan class of destroyers. The Mahan is the Tier 7 U.S. destroyer. The Mahan class, there were 18 of them built between 1934 and 1937, and they served entirely in the Pacific Campaign. Of all of the 18 that were built, 6 were lost, unfortunately, mostly due to kamikaze attacks, although one did hit a mine and was scrapped almost immediately. One was also severely damaged during Pearl Harbor. There were also 2 of them that post-war were nuclear test targets and nuked in Operation Crossroads. In terms of design, the basis for the Mahan class was a product-improved Farragut. The biggest product improvement was the use of higher pressure steam turbines with lighter weight turbines, and the end result was no real increase in speed, just a big increase in efficiency. Of course, the entire design is very different from the Farraguts. The Farraguts had the 2 centerline quad torpedo tube launchers, and there were some people in the Navy that felt that we needed 12 torpedo tubes. The original design intention was to have 3 centerline torpedo tubes. However, there was also a counter desire from the other part of the Navy that wanted to retain the gunboat characteristics and the 5th 5-inch 38 gun. At the end of all of this, we ended up with the current configuration where we have 1 centerline quad launch torpedo tube set up with 2 wing torpedo tube setups. We do retain our 5-inch 38 dual purpose mount guns instead of going back to a single purpose surface only mount. It just kind of got moved to the back. Of course, with that change also came a change in the rear decking and the rear housing for the guns. As you can see in the game, they got moved back a little bit, and really these gun arcs actually ended up working out significantly better than the Farragut's gun arcs. In order to use the number 3 gun, we no longer have to get ourselves nearly broadside in order to do it, and that is one of the strongest aspects of this ship in this game. Also, the configuration with the torpedo tubes was really quite interesting in gameplay as well, but we'll cover that in just a little bit. Of all of those 18 ships, there are 3 of them that are particularly notable. The USS Mahan was sunk when a kamikaze struck it, but earlier it did collide with the USS South Dakota and caused serious damage to both ships. Of course, if you're not familiar, the South Dakota is the namesake of the South Dakota class of battleships, of which slotted itself between the North Carolinas and the Iowas in terms of fast battleships. Also, I think it was the South Dakota with the Washington that participated in the battle that led to the sinking of a few Japanese ships at night, and the South Dakota was severely damaged in that as well. Another notable one is the USS Drayton, which in 1937, after being commissioned, joined the search for Amelia Earhart in the Pacific. Also, the USS Downs, during the attack on Pearl Harbor, was hit with an incendiary bomb, was sunk, and basically left for scrap. And she was decommissioned later that year. And then we get to 1943 of November, and somehow this thing hasn't been turned into a pile of scrap, and they decide, let's bring it back up. So in November of 1943, she was recommissioned and put back to sea, and went on to get 4 battle stars for her service in the Pacific. In terms of gameplay, as I've already alluded to, this ship has amazing gun turret firing arcs. You basically present 0 profile to enemies, and you can attack them with all 5 of your gun mounts. That is amazing. Also, you do have the very interesting configuration of your 12 torpedo tubes. You've got 8 that you can launch at any given time on one side. which plays out really well if you end up using those 4 torpedoes, the 8 torpedoes on the one side, and not killing your target. Say you jump out from behind an island and decide to torpedo a battleship and it somehow survives. You can always turn, and you do have good torpedo tube arcs, and you can utilize the remaining 4 to finish off your prey. Also, it is a decently maneuverable ship. Rudder shift time, 2.7 seconds. Turning circle, 560. That's pretty standard for the U.S. destroyers, basically from, I want to say it was the Nicholas on. I'd have to go back and look at the stats, but basically that's going to be the same for the remainder of all these ships. The downside to her is that, like all other Tier 7s, they spontaneously get easier to see. Her surface detectability range is 7.7 kilometers without the 5-point captain's skill, and only 7 kilometers with. Yeah. That's like putting a giant shoot me sign on the side of the ship. And of course, because we're going to see Tier 9s in this, man, that is really frustrating when you run up against Bensons and Fletchers with 5.8 and 5.9 detection ranges. Whew, that's probably the biggest downside to the Mahan. However, with all that said, she does do extremely well with the very stereotypical U.S. destroyer playstyle, and she has some quirks to her that make her just absolutely frightening to anybody who forgets that she has 12 torpedoes, not 8. Let's talk about game stats. She does have, and I'm going to have to do some quick math in my head, 13-1, I think, is how many hit points she has without the commander skill. Now I'm questioning that. No, 14-1. Yeah, 14-1. She has 14,100 hit points. Next to no armor, as is usual. Of course, we do have the typical 5-inch 38 caliber Mark 21 dual-purpose mounts. There are 5 of them in a 2 and 3 configuration, I guess, or it's really just a bunch of 1s. I mean, it's 2 up front and 3 in the rear. They do have a firing range of 11.7 kilometers. She does have 12 torpedo tubes. They have a range of 9.2 kilometers when fully upgraded. She is capable of stealth torping without having to have the ship approaching you or coming towards you or closing or running into your torpedo circle. So you can safely, even with that 7.7 kilometer detection range, you can safely stealth torpedo with the ship. Those torpedoes, though, are moving at a glacial 55 knots. Basically sea mines. In terms of AA defense, it exists. As with the Farragut before her, her primary damage is going to come from those dual-purpose mounts. It does have an AA hull. Of course, I do not recommend purchasing it. At just over 500,000 credits, it's a waste. It does ditch the 50 cals for at least 2 more 20 mils, so you do have 4 20mm guns to mess around with as well. In terms of maneuverability, 35 knot top speed, 560 meter turning circle, and a 2.7 second rudder shift time. Concealment, 7.7 kilometers by sea, 3.6 by air. Let's move on to our upgrades. The upgrades, if they don't look familiar, I don't know what to tell you. Main armaments mod 1. Yup, don't need to be losing guns very often. Second slot, aiming systems mod 1. In terms of other upgrades, turning speed of the turrets, nope, don't need it. AA guns, yeah, nope, don't need it. Unless you're playing in like Clan Wars or Ranked and you want to be an AA gunboat, then I could see it. But in terms of other Tier 7s, this ship is already at a pretty big disadvantage to the Kiev and the Błyskawica. I just don't think that this is the ship to have for Ranked. It is decent. It is very capable. It's not like it's a complete gimp like the Hatsuharu is. That's a really bad one for Ranked battles. In the third spot, we're going to have Damage Control Mod 1, and in the last spot, Propulsion Mod 2 for getting up to speed quicker. The captain skills, we've already discussed those. Those are pretty stereotypical for all of the U.S. destroyers. This battle video, I don't do a very good job of demonstrating the capabilities of the two wing torpedo tubes. However, it does demonstrate basically exactly the same thing that all of the other U.S. destroyers have from the Nicholas on. Basically a lot of gunplay, the occasional torpedo to take advantage of some unsuspecting enemies, and, well, some point capping, because that's what we do. We contest points. So, let's roll out the battle video! Alright, it's battle time. This is going to end up being a Tier 8 fight. As you can see, Tirpitz, Colorado, Nagato, Fuso for the food on the other team. There is an Atlanta with radar, obviously. Jerks. And the Pensacola. Those are really the only, what I would call dangerous things. Obviously, we've got a Fubuki, which, meh. The Błyskawica, meh. The Farragut's could be a problem, but we end up not ever seeing any of the other destroyers in the game, this whole game. And this game starts off really slow, but it really starts to pick up with some really good hits on a Tirpitz about the mid-game. And unfortunately, we end up not winning this game. We still ended up doing 85,000 damage, and for the most part, it shows some of the versatility of having the two wing torpedo tubes and the centerline torpedo, and the things you can kind of mess around with that. They end up not actually being able to use it in a true knife fight or in an ambush like you could use them in. They are situational in that regards. You know, you can launch the 8 on the one side and then turn, and as you pass by somebody, catch them on the backside with the other 4. But alright, this is north, and we are going to head south. Mild contradiction. And we're going to hit where the B capture point would normally be. And we're actually going to stay there for basically the whole game. And you're going to see some gunplay in this, and the majority of the damage is actually going to be done in torpedoes. There's the excellent torpedo arcs on this. And the wing torpedoes and the centerline torpedoes can pretty much hit the same points. Whichever the second one is, which I can't remember which one it prefers first. I guess we'll find out here in a couple seconds. But whichever one it is it prefers first, the second one doesn't have to move too far over to actually use them. Also, look at the gun turrets and how far forward they point when you are moving. As you can see, it's really not a huge, it's not a huge change in the center line. Just look at that. It's like maybe 15-20 degrees, and they are all in play. That makes this one of the best charging destroyers you could possibly get. So if you're going to suicide charge a enemy battleship or something like that, this would be a good one to do it because you've got plenty of guns facing forward to take advantage of it. Now we're going to go ahead and do some area denial here with this center point, because it has been my experience that even on the 2 cap point, this central area is usually a pretty busy area, which is why I'm camping out here. Also, there tends to be a large number of destroyers that come this way, and that is part of our U.S. destroyer fortes, really. We excel in hunting other destroyers, and we got plenty of other destroyers in this game to hunt. And of course, because this is the 2 cap point, it's a long and tedious game. You don't get a real good gauge for how you're doing aside from the amount of ships killed. And, well, like I said, this game starts off pretty slow. But alright. So the Mahan, it wasn't terribly difficult to get this game. I want to say this was like my 3rd or 4th game of the day. I had a couple other ones that were pretty good too that I can't show you because I was playing with the Super Tester and we weren't allowed to record. So, in fact, I actually had a 120,000 damage game that I wish I could show you, but a Super Tester ruined it. So, thanks, Super Testers. Thank you for all that you do and ruining all of my delicious videos. But, anywho, we're going to go ahead and slow down here. We're not going to get in a huge rush to leaving this area, especially since we saw that Atlanta there. That can only mean one thing. It didn't pick him up any there, so that was kind of odd. But we're going to turn around, and we're going to bring our other side to bear now. And there you can actually see the second torpedo arc. I think that's the wing launcher that actually ends up launching from that position. Yep. Okay, so the wing launcher is the one that doesn't have the full arc, but it's pretty dang close. Alright, so Mr. Cleveland, how are you today? What are you shooting at? Ooh, an Atlanta. Now, generally, I would be all about shooting this Atlanta straight off the bat. One problem: he's behind a mountain, so we're gonna use cover ourselves so that we don't get seen when we do this. Especially since I don't want to pop smoke. That Atlanta has radar, and I don't want to waste it by giving away where I'm at. And this island works really well for breaking cover. All I need is somebody to spot, and unfortunately, we ain't got much. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shoot where that Atlanta was anyway, because I keep seeing his shells come up. Now, interesting that the game recognized that where my aiming reticle is currently at as being the side of that mountain or way past it. I have no idea what exactly it was thinking. Now that Błyskawica over there, it is going to come back and bite us in the butt, us not taking care of him. Like I said, this game was a loss, and it was a loss specifically because of that Błyskawica and not killing it. Look at this! Food! Or mountain. Grrr. I would never say this in public. I wish the guns had a little bit higher arc. Just kidding. No, I don't. Oh, ooh, we got a Matsuki. Ah! Nope, mountain's still in the way. Now I'm detected, unfortunately. And I'm still not getting shots through, so... Well... I guess, maybe we'll pop smoke. Yeah, well, let's go ahead and pop smoke. Let's do a little bit of sitting and plinking. We're going to launch some torpedoes that way, too, to, you know, go ahead and shut down that Matsuki's coming into this area here. We got a Nicholas joining us, so that's cool. I get a little bit of gun ADD here. Ah! Now we found us some prey. We got a battleship moving in a straight line that is broadside to us. This is the perfect gun food. Also, it's a Tirpitz, which, you know, unsurprisingly starts on fire relatively easy. I mean, it's got that big wooden deck on it. And I'm sure they just pour all sorts of Hefeweizen all over the deck of that thing to keep it clean. Well, this is... oh, hey. I was going to say this kind of sucks because we don't have anything to really shoot at. There's my Tirpitz again. Now we got to pay attention to that Atlanta because he does have radar. I think it's only 9K. It might be 8K, but we don't want to proc that if we can avoid it. And if we do, we want to make sure that we're behind cover and he can't effectively hit us. So in this case, I'm hanging out near the rock, and we'll just keep lobbing shells. Oh yeah, especially at the Atlanta. I mean, let's do what we can to take him out of the fight, because screw that ship. It is a nasty destroyer killer in the right hands. Maybe back to the Fuso. Oh, Tirpitz is a little bit closer. Alright, well. He's just getting out of my range. So, I think we'll go ahead and we'll boost on out of here and see if we can't get ourselves into a little bit better fighting position here. And this is one of the key things, and we got to pay attention to our mini-map down in the lower right-hand corner and keep an eye on what exactly is going on with regards to other things. And this is my fault for not staying near the cap to assist, or, for that fact, chasing after the Błyskawica that, as you can see, is last spotted in C10. I guess I got a little red misted, and, well, it'll come back to bite us in the butt. We're also about to lose a Tirpitz to a Mutt, which is unfortunate. But what do you do? What do you do? He's still alive. For now, anyway. Alright. Now we got all these juicy ships. Oh, there goes the Matsuki. And I think there goes the Tirpitz. No, he's still alive. Maybe we don't lose him quite yet. Alright, well, we've got ourselves a Tirpitz here. We're going to go ahead and launch at him. I'm going to launch all the way to this one side because I'm anticipating him to turn out, but just in case, we're going to go ahead and launch it there. And of course, what are U.S. destroyers good for aside from sitting and plinking? Well, not a whole lot until, you know, you start getting those good torpedoes like we've got here. And this poor Tirpitz, he has no idea what's coming. He's getting himself shoehorned between Nicholas and I, and, well, yeah. He's gonna pop right back up just in time for us to watch. Love you, Terps. 4 torpedo hits. Dang near take him completely out of this fight. Unfortunately, we don't. And we don't get a good fire on him. In fact, one of the things that I don't like about the U.S. destroyer guns, and it's probably a good thing. Oh, we got another torpedo hit. What did I hit? You know, I don't. Must have been the Nagato or that, I don't know what I hit. Fuso, maybe? Hey, there's a fire. I'm gonna get the kill, No. Alright, yep, it was definitely the Fuso that we hit. So let's see if we can't start him on fire, too, because, you know, if he's repaired the torpedo hit, which I'm sure he has. Oh, maybe we can get some torpedoes off. But I need that Oh, there's a fire. We need that Nicholas to stay put. So, like the good neighbor that I am, I'm going to go ahead and ask our Nicholas to stay put. That way I don't lodge 8 torpedoes into his side. Alright, so let's go back to gunning down the Fuso. Especially now that I know that the Nicholas isn't going to suicide into my torps. Another fire on the Fuso. As you can see, we're starting to rack up the damage really quick. Those 5 torpedo hits really helped. Nope, we're detected. Our smoke has finally run out, so let's bug on out of here. Now, one of the problems that I have is paying attention to where I'm going. I get a little tunnel vision, and, well, there's an island there. Hello, island. My old friend. I come to talk with you again. Screw you, Atlanta. Ow. And he overshoots. I'm still detected, so it's not like he can't see me. It's just maybe he can't see me because of the angle of the island or something. But as you can see, we're being capped, and we are over halfway capped. I'm gonna try and get back there, but there's just no way for me at this point to get back there. And of course, as you can see, there is no one else in the cap. And this is because I got a little tunnel visioned. And one of the lessons that needs to be learned is that because we are a destroyer, we do need to pay attention to what's going on around us. And we do need to make sure that we are paying attention to the cap points. Because if we're not going to pay attention to the cap points and try and keep them off of our cap points, then what's the point of us being here? So, we are going to get capped out by that Buskovica, and unfortunately, we're not going to get any more damage done, I don't believe. Nope. And, alright, the end of battle screen. So it was just shy of 86,000 damage, which for a Mahan is actually really good, and I lucked out with the Tirpitz moving there, but anyway, you can see the position on the team and the credits and the XP. Now, I do want to, before I give my usual farewell, I do want to say thank you to all of you guys for reaching the 500 subscriber mark. I am impressed that there are 500 people that can tolerate to listen to me. Usually when I go to work, people don't want to. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate your guys' comments and your concerns, and I appreciate the likes and the subscriptions that you guys have given me. So here's a round of applause to you guys. Thank you very much. And if you aren't yet, a subscriber to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, as well as like and comment. I'm your Peacekeeper with Whiskey's Gaming Lounge. Thanks for watching.